Well, the Goldman Environmental Prize recognizes individuals for their efforts to protect and enhance the natural environment, often at great personal risk. Among the 6 recipients of the Goldman Environmental Prize 2015 is Kenyan Phyllis Omido. She recently spoke with me about how fears that her son was poisoned from a smelting factory in Mombasa led her to fight to have the plant shut down.
My son was very little, and I used to bring him to the office a lot of times when I got the job at Metro Refinery. And after a while, about 3 months of me getting the job at Metro Refinery, he fell sick. And when we went to test him we went to hospital, they tested him for malaria, typhoid, and all was negative. And we could not put a finger to what was making him ill. That's when we tested for lead poisoning, and he had 17 parts per million of lead. And so after that, I thought, because my son had been with me in the office for very short periods, I thought about the community that stays right there.
You took some steps which became extremely, life-changing for you, I could say. Can you share that with us?
I went into the community and requested 3 mothers to give me their children to test. I went with 2 boys and 1 girl and took them to the government chemist for tests, and all of them tested positive for lead poisoning. And so I decided to talk to the directors of the smelter. I told them that I took these 3 kids for testing, and they all tested positive for lead poisoning. I proposed that they accept to relocate the smelter. We find land that had no human settlement around it, and that we designed the plant in a way that would not have adverse negative impacts on the environment and health of people. But they were not willing to listen to me. I took the results to NEMA, that is the National Environment Management Authority and Public Health Office. And we, at that point, I went with some of the community members and we informed them of what was happening, and that we thought this was going to have very, very negative health and environment impacts, and that the plant should be relocated. That was the beginning of the struggle.
You were being persuaded, actually, not to talk so much about this.
Yes, actually, when my son fell sick, when I left hospital, when I confronted the owners and told them, you did not tell me that this thing was very dangerous, it affected my son. I had spent 210,000 Kenya shillings on the hospital bill, so they paid me back that, but in exchange they gave me documents to sign that I was never going to disclose anything or share any document about their work.
Now, what made you say, well, I don't want to keep it to myself, my son is okay, they paid my bills, let me move on with my life? Why did you say, no, I got to do more?
Even when I signed those documents, I think they knew that I was not going to keep quiet, because it was very presumptuous of them to think that by paying the bill that they made everything okay, because those human settlement there were over 3,000 human beings in the community, and I had interacted with these people. The mothers were my friends. Why would I keep quiet knowing that their children were also exposed to lead poisoning? So for me, it was an obvious choice that I had to tell them what was going on.
Well, Phyllis Omido is a Kenyan recipient of the Goldman Environmental Prize 2015. In our next segment, she will tell us how her simple request to save the children of her community got her in trouble with authorities.